So I am a mortgage loan officer and I work for Hometown Lenders, and I help ITIN clients. So the most important thing for an ITIN loan is to have credit under the ITIN. So you can have credit under the ITIN, and you can go to like a bank and get a secured credit card, and you use your ITIN just like a social. And usually credit unions are the best route for that. You can get a car loan from a credit union. I know that Dick Hanna Subaru, there is a finance gentleman there who does car loans under ITIN. And typically on the ITIN loans, they need at least 2 trade lines, and trade lines are like a credit card, a car payment, a mortgage payment if you already have one. You need to have that reported on your credit report. You can self-report things such as like your water, your power to the credit report, even under your ITIN. So that can help establish that. And they typically want at least 2 trade lines that are older than a year. And that's kind of the first step. And then another one that is a hiccup that happens on those is making sure that your house payments or your rent payments, that you have those paid not with cash but with a check, so that we can have 12 months canceled checks to show that you pay your rent on time.
What is important to know about ITIN loans?
So one of the downside of ITIN loans is that it usually requires so much more down. Anywhere, it used to be 10%, but they're back down to 15% down to 25% down. That's the downside. And then they usually have higher fees and higher interest rates. You can typically say it's about 2% higher on the interest rate than a normal loan. And then you typically have about a 2 to 2.5% of your loan amount as an additional fee. Those are the drawbacks. So if you don't have a family member who can help with your loan, then an ITIN is another option because it's in your name, and you don't have to be a U.S. citizen to have an actual house in your name. And that's really important to know. People don't realize that. There's no restrictions on that. So that's really important. Making sure that you have your taxes, and even if you have a number on your W-2 that does not match your ITIN, there are still loans that allow that. They just ignore that because you file your tax returns under your ITIN. And that's the important part, is that you're filing tax returns under the ITIN.
So how many ITINs loan do you typically do, like in a month?
So it's more like yearly, because you really sometimes, I have a lot of clients that we're working, like they may pay cash for their rent, so we need to take the next year to make sure we pay checks. So we're kind of in the works. And so It's just, typically it's like 1 a month, because we have to do a lot of legwork up front if they don't already have it done. But I don't care. I'll wait as long as I need to. We're just working on some things, or we might be, fixing up some credit to be able to get a better option. Because if your credit score is a little bit lower, they will require more down. So we might be doing some credit fixing to kind of get the scores up.
But you definitely have the experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
In my career, I've done quite a few, because I've done them as a processor and as a loan officer. So I've done both sides of it and done quite a few of them.
Good.
But
yeah. A little bit on getting credit with the ITIN.
So
like some tips.
So getting credit under the ITIN, a lot of people don't know, is that if you currently have a social that maybe was misgiven to you and you have credit under that social, you can transfer that to your ITIN. And then subsequently, when you do get your ITIN and you get your citizenship or your EAD or your work visa, whatever it may be, you can transfer your ITIN credit to your new social. So you cannot have to give up all that hard work of paying debts on time and having a good credit score. You can transfer it. So there's ways to do that. And another important thing is, when you do an ITIN loan, is to make sure that loan officer, whoever you use, does not mark you as a U.S. citizen, a non-resident alien, or a permanent resident alien, because that can affect your citizenship later. So that's the most important thing, is to make sure that's not
Where would they mark
left.
you for that, and where would you be paying attention, making sure that's not done?
So that's going to be on the loan application that's digitally usually sent to you, and it'll say on there, it's on the first page right near your ITIN and your date of birth and your name. It'll put in their citizenship, and those should be left blank. They need to be left blank because it is a federal document. And I don't say this to scare anybody. I say this to protect you, is to make sure that your loan officer does not mark any of those. And it does not need to be marked because it's not part of the HMDA data, so we don't have to mark it. So we're not legally obligated to. So that's important to know. That's the only thing that I like everyone to know, is to make sure that you double check your loan officer's work, that they don't mark that. That's the most important thing. So.
Perfect. Thank you.